Hey everybody, it's Kevin Matthews in Kenosha County. I'm here at the Kenosha County Fair on the last day, August 17th, Sunday. I'm here with Kenosha County District Attorney Xavier Solis. Xavier, I know you're busy. Thanks for sitting down to talk with me today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
So, DA Solis, what made you want to run for DA?
I believe that the community needed a stronger law enforcement leadership. The community needed change. So I ran on, that's probably the biggest reason that I ran for.
So, now that you are the DA, what are the biggest challenges that you face every day?
I guess probably biggest challenges is to stay on top of the cases that come in, cases that have been lingering since before I came in, and obviously we have some serious cases that are still pending, that have been pending for a few years. That's one of the biggest challenges that I have coming into the DA's office.
So I've noticed that, unlike your predecessor, you've been in court a lot. You've been in misdemeanor court, felony court, intake court, prelim court. So how do you balance kind of being the boots on the ground with managing the office?
Just working hard. I have a good staff. The staff is pretty good with helping us and allowing us to stay on top of everything. I like being in court. I like going to, intake court, and I like to see what's going on in the courtroom. I like to see what comes in. That at least allows me to also get some experience, how to see what cases are how they're handled, how some of the judges rule on certain rulings, and how some of the defense attorneys work or how they negotiate their cases, and also shows me how to be a prosecutor. So I like being inside a courtroom.
So obviously we see each other a lot in court, and I've noticed that you've been sitting with interns and very new attorneys, kind of mentoring them. So why is that important to you?
It's important to me just so they can get some experience, so they can be able to argue cases, be able to argue bond. We do have some good interns. We do have some new attorneys that are new. I always tell people, joking around, is that they'll do a way better job than me anyway, and we both learn at the same time.
So, when do law students wrap up? So, are you going to consider hiring some prosecutors right out of law school, and if so, why or why not?
I mean, right now I think there's a shortage of prosecutors all around the state. If a prosecutor or if an attorney is qualified straight out of law school, and I mean, I don't have no problem hiring that individual. They'll get the experience that they need. I think in Kenosha County especially, they'll get a lot of experience compared, I believe, to other counties. In Kenosha County, we do litigate a lot, so I believe that they will get a lot of experience coming here to Kenosha County. And I have no issue hiring people that have no prosecutional experience, because I mean they'll learn it. I mean, and I think we have a good court system that allow them to learn it. So yeah.
And so, I know you've put a big emphasis on organized retail theft and violent crime. Just what is your approach to those two things?
So with the organized retail theft is usually you see it happening all over the United States, and especially here in the Midwest. You'll see a lot of it happening in Chicago. You'll see a lot of it happening in the suburbs of Chicago, in Milwaukee, Dane County. You'll see it in Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie outlets in particular. There's certain groups that hit Alta, and then they'll take that. Some of them are transnational gangs also, The reason I see retail theft or organized retail theft than other prosecutors, the fact that a lot of that money that they make out of retail theft is being used so they could fund their other criminal enterprises, such as sex trafficking, drug dealing, drug trafficking, arms dealing. And the reason they use retail theft is because they're very rarely punished when it comes to retail theft. Most of them either get a slap on the hand and then they're out. A lot of it is committed by a bunch of illegal aliens that do come from the sanctuary cities of Chicago. We've been tough on that. We are cooperating with immigration and ICE. And if you come to Kenosha County to commit retail theft as an organized crime, we will hold you accountable. We cooperate with ICE, and we will ask for incarceration. As to violent crime, our focus is repeat offenders. We're trying to minimize the violent crime that's been a plague in Kenosha County for the past couple years. With repeat offenders, one thing is that if they do come into court with a misdemeanor, we still ask for a high cash bond due to the fact that they have a prior record. That goes to what they are, a flight risk, and it also goes to protection of the community and making sure that they don't repeat any crime. So that's what I've seen that we've been doing the past few months.
So just as a follow-up question, to clarify, you're not talking about first-time shoplifters who are stealing a couple loaves of bread or something like that. Are you only interested in the serious, more organized crime?
Well, I mean, first, no one likes a thief, no matter who it is. But I think the community will tolerate more if it's a individual who goes and steals some food because he's hungry. And I'm not saying that's right. What our focus is individuals that come in groups, could be 4 or 5 individuals. They will go from store to store. They'll hit in Vernon Hills, Gurney, Pleasant Prairie. Then they'll go to Racine, Milwaukee, and other places. But they'll go all over, just going in there and stealing. A lot of them, when they get pulled over, they always I shouldn't say pulled over. When they get arrested, the biggest excuse that they have is the fact that they're refugees and they have no money, and they came here to this country so they could make an American dream. My counter to that is that if you come to this country to steal, you're not here to make an American dream. So I'm focusing on those individuals. I'm focusing on individuals who come from Milwaukee and Chicago. They come here in groups so they can come and steal from our local stores. We're aggressive with that. I know other counties like Milwaukee very rarely will prosecute retail theft. A lot of them get signature bonds even though they have a record a mile long. However, we're asking for high cash bonds, and we're asking for incarceration in those type of crimes.
What policies have you implemented in your office, and why?
One of the policies is the retail theft, felony retail theft. If you get arrested with felony retail theft, there won't be any plea bargaining where it'll get amended down to a ticket or misdemeanor without any approval from supervision. Another one is fleeing and eluding. We're asking for prison on fleeing and eluding. There are certain circumstances where maybe, we don't have a strong case and we may ask for something less than prison. But from starting off with fleeing and eluding, we're asking for prison. Those are some of the policies. Another policy is serious felonies and violent felonies. If the case is going to get dismissed or amended down to a misdemeanor, policy is to get approval from supervision, or at least reach out to the victims, talk to the victims, and see what's going on prior to giving some type of agreement or dismissing a case.
And I've been talking with some of your prosecutors, and they all tell me the same thing. You're usually the first one in the building, and you're the last one to leave. You're kind of burning the candle at both ends. Do you see a little bit of relief in sight, or you're going to continue to pound away for your entire career?
I mean, as long as God blesses me with the opportunities that I've been blessed with, I will continue to work hard. I will continue to work hard to try to make sure that office goes in the right direction that I want it to go in, and what's more important, what the public wants it to go in. I do go into the office super early. I don't like to disclose it a lot. One, because I don't like to brag, but two, I don't want people to know where I'm at. So that too. So yeah. I mean, it's just I just don't like to advertise it or whatever. That's another way to say it. There's times too where I stay later in the office, especially if if I have a big case or there's a lot of cases that need to be resolved. I know we're a little short-staffed, so I would stay a little bit longer.
All right, you brought up supervision. So you just hired you promoted a new Deputy District Attorney, Rosa Delgado. I don't know if I told you this, but 16 years ago, I was a juror in a death trial, and she was the prosecutor, and I was so impressed with her. She was really a pit bull, advocating for the victims to get justice. She got a guilty verdict. So for the last 16 years, I've just been impressed with her. What made you promote Rosa?
We had a change in leadership. The former deputy DA, Andrew Burgoyne, he's no longer at the office. He decided to go to a different job or whatever. So I mean, that's his choice, and we move forward. The thing with Rosa is Rosa has about 21, 22 years as experience as a district attorney or as a prosecutor. She's been at that office. She's been at our office since 2002. I seen her when I was on the defense side. I had cases against Rosa, and I knew Rosa would go through all her cases and make sure that her cases were, solid, tight. She always would come up with stuff that happened like 20 years ago with the defendant. I'm exaggerating a bit, and when I came in and I also saw how she worked, she's another one that was always in the office, always working hard. She was always working on her cases, so she brings a lot of experience, and she's also pretty good. She also has good relationships with the legal staff and paralegals. So I think that will help, and I think the biggest difference though is that me and Rosa have the same vision for the office moving forward, and I think that's probably one of the biggest differences is that her and I have the same vision of the office moving forward.
Very good. So you have Mexican ancestry, and she's got Puerto Rican ancestry. So is this the first time that there's been two Hispanics in the top two roles?
I honestly don't know. I know me and Rosa joked around about that one time, but she told me something that was that was very true to it. She goes, I may be Puerto Rican, but I didn't work hard based on the fact I didn't get to where I am today because I'm Puerto Rican. I got here today because I worked hard. That's what she told me, and that's true because Rosa never once goes around saying, "Hey, I'm Puerto Rican. You need to hire me," or say, "Hey, I'm Puerto Rican, poor me," or anything like that. So she just works hard, and she's never worn the Puerto Rican on her sleeve. I mean, she's proud to be Puerto Rican, but I mean, if you ask her, she'll probably tell you she's American first, and she's gonna do what's best. And and same thing with me. I don't go around, telling people that. I mean, you could just look at me and you know what I am. I mean, I don't have to wear it on my sleeve. I'm proud of what I am, but I'm here not because of my race. I'm here because of hard work I'm here because of hard work, and I'm going to keep working hard.
Very good. So what alternatives do you support to incarceration, and in what circumstances do you support those alternatives?
I know we have deferred prosecution agreements. I know sometimes those are good for first-time offenders. I also know that you have to be realistic that there's some cases that I know that the court's not going to send that individual to jail or prison just because the crime doesn't fit the punishment. If it's a first-time offender or someone that maybe we can keep them out of the criminal justice system with maybe like a DPA or something else. Like, I know you say incarceration, but maybe probation. But if that's a way we can do it, and we believe that that person's going to be successful, then we would extend that out to that individual.
So how do you apply the Galleon? I'm sorry, I lost my place. Where do you stand on accountability and public safety? How do you define those two things?
Accountability is meaning that holding people accountable regardless who they are, and whether they're connected to certain people or that they have relationships with other people. I think that's one way, is holding people accountable. Another accountability is holding people who are repeat offenders that just keep it. Like, I just had a trial maybe about a couple weeks ago on an individual who was like a serial bank robber. In trial, we were only able to get 3 prior bank robberies due to the law and stuff. But overall, he had 6 prior bank robberies, and he's still out committing bank robberies. So that's one where I see that, like, whoa, this guy should have been put away a long time ago. And he was currently on parole for bank robbery. I also had a jury trial on an armed robbery. The armed robbery was of a Walgreens in Kenosha. That individual also has a record a mile long who should have been put away a long time ago. One thing that I see in court is that I do go to intake court a lot. I do ask for high cash bonds. When I ask for the high cash bonds, sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. But when I ask for high cash bonds, a lot of the times it's that this individual is just a repeat offender, or he's just gonna violate bond, and sure enough, they'll post bond. Next thing you know, they'll come back with another charge. So that's one of the reasons that we ask for high cash bonds, and that will go to public safety, is protecting the public. I would go back to, you mentioned the fact of interns and coming to the office early and this and that. I know the jury trials that we had. We worked hard on those trials. We came to the office. I was at the office like super early, maybe like 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m., working on those trials, getting ready for those trials. And we were working hard, and we got convictions on those trials that we had.
Wait a second. Your opponents said that you weren't a prosecutor and you wouldn't be able to convict anybody. You've taken a few cases to trial, right?
I've taken 3.
Have you lost any?
No.
What are you doing wrong?
Well, one of the cases, the verdict came back within my first trial. The verdict came back. I learned a lot from my first trial. We got a verdict. It came back guilty. I did learn a lot from that trial. My second trial that we went to was an attempted homicide, and we got a verdict in about 45 minutes. It was less than an hour that we got a verdict. The last trial that I had was a bank robbery, and got a verdict in about 30 minutes. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't care what my opponents say or what the other individuals say. I don't have enough time to pay attention to them. I got a job to do. I'm going to do my job. The only thing is, though, is that if you want to see me fail, you don't want to see the district attorney's office fail. If you don't want me in office, then vote me out. Beat me in 4 years. And if I didn't do a good job and the people don't want me, then the people are going to say, you know what, we don't want Xavier. We don't want him here, get him out. But yeah, I'm going to do my job. And like I said, if you don't want me here, if my opponents don't want me here, if the naysayers don't want me here, get me out in 4 years. Do not try to mislead the public. I respect the First Amendment. I respect the First Amendment. I took an oath to uphold the First Amendment, but do not mislead the public. At least, report what's true.
So in your attempted murder trial, obviously you saw me there. You let a brilliant young intern who's actually now entered her third year of law school, Morgan Millar, do opening statements, which a lot of people think is one of the most important parts of trial. What made you decide to let her do it, and did you get any feedback from the jury questionnaires about her performance?
So that trial was attempted homicide. There was a lot of witnesses, a lot of evidence. So with Morgan Millar, like, one thing people don't know is that she's currently in National Guard. She's a medic, so she was familiar with burns. And the victim in this case got burned. She got set on fire by her ex-boyfriend, or her boyfriend at the time. He poured alcohol over her, rubbing alcohol, and then he set her on fire. So Morgan was very familiar with a lot of the burns, like how it goes towards, how the severity is of it and stuff, like, severity of it. And she goes, can I take a shot at doing the opening statement? And I asked her, draft something, and we'll go over it.
Did you get any feedback from the jurors on her performance?
We got feedback. We got great feedback from the jurors. There's actually one juror who saw one of the ADAs, told him that she did great at the opening statement.
All right, so are you in favor of any alternatives to incarceration? And if so, in what cases do you? And by the way, you'll start hearing a lot of clicking. We've got a spinning wheel where kids can win candy and gum. So that's what the clicking sound is. All right, so do you support any alternatives to incarceration? And if so, for what instances?
Like, there's deferred prosecution agreements for first-time offenders, individuals who necessarily, have like a drug issue, or they did something stupid, like it was more of a one-time thing. That's one way to. That's an alternative to incarceration that we use.
So we're talking about minor non-violent crimes, right?
We're talking about that. There's sometimes domestic violence cases where the victim's on board, or the victim doesn't want him to go to jail or prison, or her, and they want him to get counseling or treatment.
How are your relationships with the Twin Lakes Police Department, Pleasant Prairie Police Department, Kenosha Police Department, the Sheriff's Department? I don't know if I'll include the University of Wisconsin Parkside, because that's a small department they don't work with very often, but the other law enforcement leaders, what is your relationship like with them?
With Chief Patton from Kenosha Police Department, I have a good relationship with him. I always tell him if there's any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Also, other officers in the Kenosha Police Department, I always tell them that go ahead and reach out to me if there's any issues. I have a good relationship with Sheriff David Zerner. I have a good relationship with Katie Hahn in Twin Lakes. I know a lot of the officers there. They're good officers, and The Pleasant Prairie Police Department is a great department. I have a good relationship with Chief Sameta. I think Pleasant Prairie does good work when it comes to retail theft and fleeing and looting cases. And I want to work harder with them to make sure that we could limit those type of cases.
All right, I know you have to go pull some raffle tickets in a second, so I'll just rapid fire these last few questions. You've had to hire a paralegal, you've had to hire victim witness coordinator and some other staff. How many applications about more or less did you get for those positions?
About 40 to 50. Last time we had those openings, we got about 40 or 50 paralegal and victim witness applications.
So people are interested in working for you?
Yes.
And obviously, before you even took the oath of office, you had many prosecutors who just, from what they've told other people, they didn't want to work for the first Republican DA in 100 years. And you've had a few more leave, and you got a few more that are kind of leaving in protest. They just don't want to work for a Republican. But you've hired many prosecutors. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you've had several interns this year that have expressed interest in finishing law school and coming to work with you, right?
We had 3 legal interns. At least 2 of them are interested. I know one is interested in coming and working here. So we do have interest in people coming and work here.
And do you have any lawyers that are going to be joining your team as prosecutors soon?
It's nothing official, but I believe one should be joining in October. I won't make it official until he accepts the letter. The letter was sent out this week or last week. Yeah, spin the wheel.
Go ahead. And so what experiences prepared you for your role as DA?
Life experience, obviously, that's the biggest one. 10 years a criminal defense attorney, also doing other cases, practicing in other counties, working with other attorneys and against other prosecutors, and seeing how not just one county but all the counties do it. I think that was a big plus in my preparing me for this job.
Did you do any juvenile cases?
I did juvenile cases and CHIPS cases. I've done those before, and also TPRs, which are termination of parental rights, representing parents in those type of cases.
What about civil law? Did you do any civil law?
I did some civil law. Civil law usually is for like maybe personal injury, but I've done some small claims, and I did a defamation trial one time, which was a week long. A client was gung ho with that type of case, so it was a fun case to do.
And you did some family law?
I also done family law. I've done divorces and custody battles and child support cases. So I've done those before too.
So would you say that having such a wide range, although focusing on criminal defense, played a role in helping you to obtain the skills for this job?
I mean, I think so. Shows me like how some defense attorneys are going to want to argue something, or how somewhat they're going to try to argue in court or in trial, or trying to get some type of offer. So yeah.
So when you're not at the office from sun up till sundown, what do you like to do for fun?
Hang out at the Kenosha County Fair.
That's a good one. What legacy do you want to leave for your office when your time as DA has completed?
Well, first I want to get through my first year, and but I want to make sure that office is in good hands. We're tough on crime. You come to Kenosha County and commit a crime, you're going to be held accountable. I also want to leave a legacy that we were fair, that we protected defendants and victims' rights, constitutional rights, that we didn't do anything that was underhanded or anything that was corrupt. That's the type of legacy that I want to leave, and I want to make sure that the community feels like they're protected, in living here in Kenosha County.
And I've seen you every day at the fair. That's correct.
Yeah, I don't know if I was here Thursday, but I've been here mostly every day.
And you've been hanging out at the Republican Party of Kenosha County booth, which is right next door to ours. And people have been just coming up to you, strangers and people you know, just giving you praise. You've been doing a great job, shaking your hand, stuff like that. Why do you think you're getting that type of reception here at the fair?
I honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just trying to do my job, and that actually means a lot to me, because obviously you mentioned it before that I was an individual with no prosecutional experience, and that I was going to get confused on which side I was. That's something that the people that always wanted to go against me would indicate. But I mean, it means that we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and it means that the public feels that they like what we're doing. So that could be it.
And your predecessor never agreed to do any type of podcast with me. Obviously, unfortunately, I've had to be critical of you in the past with a couple of decisions that some folks didn't agree with. What made you decide to sit down with somebody like me who might ask you some tough questions?
I don't know. I saw a microphone. He said, "Hey, you want an interview?" I said, "Okay, let's do it." No, I try to be.
Did you guys drive the canned GMC out here? You're good.
No, I try to be transparent with the public. I know there's other media outlets here in Kenosha County and stuff, and I try to be transparent with them also, but they don't reach out to me often, and so I mean, but I try to be transparent. If they want a criminal complaint or want to know how a case ended, I always open to discuss that matter. So I just try to be transparent with the public and the media, and I think having speaking with you, I think it's important so the public can know what's going on. I don't like the public being misled. I again, like I said, I support the First Amendment, but I don't want the public to get misled.
Well, very good. I know you're very busy. You got a lot on the docket for today and other days. I just wanted to thank you on behalf of myself and my listeners for sitting down and answering these questions. Thank you so much, D.A. Solis.
Thanks for having me.